My apologies for that.
It's all right.
So I wanted to ask you about when Grand Poobah temporarily left. That changed the vibe of the group in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sonically, what ways do you feel like it changed the sound of Brand Nubian?
Well, once he was gone, I had the control of the reins. And in my mind, you know, I was a big Public Enemy,
Right, right.
fucking, Eric B and Rakim, like my whole shit was just a little more militant, a little more, you know, I felt like, and I loved the first album, but I just felt like if I would have had my way, it would have been a little more darker, a little,
Yep,
but it
yep.
ended up being the perfect balance. You see what I'm
Right,
saying? It was the
right.
perfect balance. Um, but I just knew that I wanted to take it in a direction that was just a little more serious. Maybe the first side is a little darker, the second side is lighter, you
Hmm.
know. That's kind of what I was going for and shit, the knowledge side and the wisdom side. Um, yeah. And so I just had a vision of what I felt because a lot of people, especially later on, conscious music started to turn into like some soft shit or something. Like it got associated with not strength, like,
Right.
just kind of corny in a way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I wanted to make music for, when the revolution pop off, some shit that you could play, to fucking, fortify you and some going to war music type shit, dead ass.
Right, right. Yeah, that's how I felt too. I felt like the first album had a dope ass bounce to it, but like the second album, In God We Trust, that's definitely my favorite Brand Nubian album. And I remember the song Allahu Akbar. I played that when my son was a baby. I played Allahu Akbar every day. I would bust my ass working all the time, and then in the morning I would get home from work and I would have to feed him breakfast and be me and him listening to Allahu Akbar every day. He was a baby. He didn't even know what was going on. He used to just get
Right,
excited
right.
and shit. But yeah, I used to love that song.
Yeah,
And
man.
Pass the Gat. Love
Yes.
Pass the Gat. Now it's
You see?
emphatically now cipher to try to take the life of me without a fight. Huh. I
You
clean
see?
my
Like
gun with
that
a Rick Rod. I used to love that
That's a
song.
perfect song of what I'm talking about. Like, if the revolution popped off tomorrow and all, pass me the gat, I'm gonna fight back. I ain't rolling over on my motherfucking back. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a revolutionary resistance type of music. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, clean my
Yeah.
gun with a rig rod. Here
Here
comes the
come the
God
God
that
that
don't
don't
eat
eat
pig
pig
lard.
log. Oh my
Okay.
God, I used to love that. Love that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's what's up. So after a while, you start to notice. Well, one thing I want to ask you about, let's go back to what you were saying about the Ansar. Let's talk about the different iterations of Islam in the community at that time. Were brothers able to sit down and build together and exchange ideas, or was there conflict?
Um, yeah, there's always conflict, I feel like, but you're able to exchange ideas too. Like, when you run in conscious circles, I had friends in the Nation of Islam. I had some friends that were um, you know, Ansar Rule. Uh, you know, you have some friends that could be Rastafari, like,
Hmm.
there's all kind of different people that you deal with once you get into that conscious realm. Um, and there's people that are cool, and then there's people that want to be combative all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it all just
Right.
depends.
Hmm.
But I remember at that time, um, the Ansar rules, that's what they was called at that time. Um, they had a lot of they used to be in the subway stations and with the white robes, and they'd have a lot of oils and little booklets and shit like that on the table to sell. And I used to cop oils from these dudes, and a lot of times I would cop their books sometimes. You know what I mean? If there
Hmm.
was a title that looked interesting to me, okay, let me see what this is about. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm doing the knowledge to these books. And at the time, I just remember reading in some of those Dr. York books, and the word Nubian stood out to me. Like, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? He calling us Nubians. And I remember hearing that word back in the days, but I was like, yeah, Nubian, that kind of sound fly. I
Yeah.
was like, and I said, now let me just say, right now, I'm not with this whole Pan-African
Right, 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 right. No,
this
I'm,
whole
I'm with you.
Pan-African story, right?
Hmm.
But back then, that's what we was on. We was
Hmm.
on the Pan-African shit,
Hmm.
okay? Believing all of that. That's a whole other a
Right.
whole other show. But anyway, so I'm thinking in my mind, with that Pan-African thought, uh, yeah, these dudes, they don't like calling themselves African. They got an aversion to that. But
Hmm.
if I say Nubian, they might feel like that's cool. Like, you know what
Right,
I mean? And not
right.
even necessarily know that it means African, like. Um, so yeah, when it was time for to come with the name, I threw that Nubian into the mix. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like, and we had like Nubian Force was an option, or
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, and then I'm just like thinking, I'm like Nubian, brand new. You know what I mean? Brand
Right.
Nubian. Yo, what about brand Nubian? Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? We put that into the fucking mix, and then we voted on it, and it was brand Nubian. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so I'm the one from being exposed to these Dr. York books. That's why the word Nubian got thrown into, you know, some five percenters album type shit, and,
Gotcha.
the name of our group.
Gotcha. After a while, you started to notice that the knowledge and the music was starting to be replaced with the gangster shit, with the hypersexualized shit. What was going through your
Mhm.
mind at that time? Did you feel like, yo, we losing our grip, we gotta come back harder? Or did you feel like it was just the end? Like it was just naturally just time to let it kind of fade a little bit.
I mean, I see what was going on. I never felt like I was the type that can single-handedly save some shit.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I was trying to figure out, you know, how can we still make this cool? Like they fuck with the negative shit because they think it's cool.
Right.
So you can make some shit cool,
Damn, that's
then
deep.
fuck with it. Like
Yeah.
that's why they fucked with us because that shit was cool. The 5% Nation, brand Nubian, that was some cool shit. So that's why they fucked with us. Um, so I'm like thinking in my mind, let me um let me hit the next generation and get some consciousness going there. And so I brought Dead Prez into the game, which some people don't know. Now that's not necessarily Islamic, but it's
Conscious.
conscious. Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
conscious rap. And yeah, so I was proud to, because you can't always you're not gonna stay on top forever, like you know
Right.
what I mean. Um, so yeah, I felt good bringing them into the game and feeling like, all right, we're gonna keep the consciousness going, even if it's not 5% per se. These guys are being influenced by a 5%, and a lot of things, you know what I mean, that they
Hmm.
say are kind of based in what we talk about, but at the same time, they're their own people and they have their own understanding, and you know what I mean.
Right, right. Man. And I'm looking back at that time, and it seemed like it's and this is not me being a conspiracy. Well, I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm proud of that too. But
We're not
it,
conspiracy theorists. We're just, I told you so. Motherfuckers.
yeah,
That's what
we
they need to call conspiracy theorists. People
yeah,
that are the I told you so guys.
yeah. Or just call us right.
Right.
Yeah, we just right.
Basically.
But there had to be some kind of a behind the scenes movement to get the positive music out. But do you think there was a movement to get Islam out? 'cause I read an article years ago, right after 9/11, and it said right after 9/11, there was a massive drop in Islamic references and mentioning the name Allah in hip hop music after that.
because people was probably scared.
Hmm.
Is probably scared to say that.
True.
Um, I mean, when you say where they going after Islam, I feel like conscious and Islam kind of go hand in hand with hip hop. If you're gonna get conscious music out, then you're gonna get Islam out. Like they go together. Like you
True.
can't say I'm going after conscious music and then some sort of this, Islamic influenced music still stays. It's the
Right.
one and the same. Like,
True. True.
um, actually it's the driving. Force of conscious music.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, definitely,
Hmm.
definitely they wanted that out. Um, but I don't but I don't think, you know, in all fairness, it's not like they wanted to replace it with Christian rap either. They don't want no kind of moral compass for you to follow. You understand? They want you to just be running wild out here. Let your compass go all over the fucking map.
Hmm.
Um, damn, why is my screen doing that? That's weird. Okay, yeah, they want you bugging out here.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, they want a complete and total moral breakdown in the black community. Because they make
facts.
money, they make money off it. They make a lot of money off of it. So you never, ever, ever stepped off your square and you dropped the 5% album, 2006, when everybody else was kind of like, let's go from the Islamic to the party music. Let's talk about popping bottles. Even a lot of, not naming no names, not dissing nobody, even a lot of the 5% MCs who was known for the knowledge, all of a sudden became party dudes. You
Let's talk
never,
about street shit and yeah, party
right.
shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How come you never said, fuck it? How come you never said, let me make just one party song and get some bread real quick and then go? You never did that. You always stayed on